St. Hildegard's feminine strength and authority, combined with her intellectual talents and mystical gifts, allowed her to be a courageous and outspoken presence to the church leaders and political figures of her time. She was constantly rebuking princes, bishops, and popes in a fearless manner when she did not approve of their actions. She was able to foretell the future, and she wrote her visions down. An archbishop later declared that her visions had come from God. Hildegard was born in the year 1098 to a noble German family as the youngest of 10 children. As a child, Hildegard was sent to be educated at a Benedictine monastery, where she was put under the care of a woman named Jutta. Jutta taught her how to read, write, and pray the Psalms. As Jutta was also of noble descent, she was in a unique position to understand Hildegard and help her on a personal level. Hildegard was an extraordinarily gifted and creative genius. She had a great deal of personal charm. People liked her and wanted to remember her. The reputation for holiness that Jutta and Hildegard received spread and attracted other young women to them. Hildegard started having visions from a very young age. She called them reflections of the living light. She was reluctant to share these visions, which came to her as inner experiences while her eyes were open and all her senses routinely engaged. In a few years, Hildegard and Jutta formed their own Benedictine convent, and Hildegard received the religious habit at the age of 15. After Jutta's death, Hildegard was appointed as the superior of the convent and moved it to a location independent. This decision was made in spite of the opposition of some abbots and monks. Her exercise of the ministry of authority inspired the many other women in her community to join the coven. She quickly became recognized for her immense knowledge of all things faithful, music, and natural science, with knowledge of herbs and medicinal arts. Her sisters sang her music in choral compositions, played musical instruments, and memorized lines as actors in her morality play, Ordo Virtutum. My channel got demonetized a few days ago. I love creating content for you all, and I'm really passionate about what I do. But without the support of monetization, it's becoming increasingly challenging to keep up with the costs associated with making videos. We already have a PayPal donation link and a Patreon page where those of you who are willing and able can support the channel directly. Every donation, no matter how small, will go a long way in helping me cover expenses like equipment, software, and the time I invest in creating videos. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Her own sisters helped prepare natural remedies from the herb garden. They also assisted her in diagnosing other people who were sick. Much of her insight is believed to have been communicated by God Himself through her frequent visions. At first, Hildegard did not want to make her visions public, but she would confide in her spiritual director. He passed on the knowledge to his abbot, who decided to assign a monk to document everything Hildegard saw. Her first work, completed in 1151, was a written description of 26 visions with her commentary on them, known as Scivias, Know the Ways. Her writings include the subjects of botany, cosmology, natural science, language, medicine, theology, music, poetry, and history. Her musical talent led her to compose hymns, antiphons, and songs that were joyfully performed in the monasteries. Hildegard had a great love for God's creation, the pinnacle of which is the human person. She wrote, "A human being is a vessel that God has built for himself and filled with his inspiration, so that his works are perfected in it." The last year of St. Hildegard's life was difficult for her and her convent. Going against the wishes of the diocesan authorities, Hildegard refused to remove the body of a young man buried in the cemetery attached to her convent. The boy had previously been excommunicated, but since he received his last sacraments before dying, Hildegard felt he had been reconciled to the Church. This resulted in her own excommunication, along with the rest of her covenant, and the sisters were forbidden to receive Holy Communion or to sing. Hildegard appealed to higher church authorities, and the interdict was finally lifted shortly before her death in 1179. While St. Hildegard was revered as a saint for centuries and listed as a saint in the Roman Martyrology, she was not officially canonized until 2012, 833 years after her death. She is the patron saint of ecology, as well as musicians and writers. St. Hildegard of Bingen. In your humility and simplicity, you were raised up by God and given a special gift of supernatural knowledge about the deepest mysteries of heaven and earth. Please pray for me that I will always be open to the truths God reveals to me, and that I will use that knowledge as the basis of all my choices in life. St. Hildegard of Bingen, pray for me. Jesus, I trust in you.